Hi everybody, welcome to our National Signing Day Swampcast. I'm Robbie Andreu, the beat writer for the Gainesville Sun and Gatorsports.com for the Florida Gator football team. With me, Graham Hall, our recruiting expert, who's been working really hard the last couple of months actually, and finally came to a head today. But Graham, I know earlier today a lot of anxious moments. Florida missed on a couple of guys. People were thinking, oh, are they going to get shut out? At the end, they pulled it out with those 3 late afternoon signings.
Yeah, I know there was a lot of panic in the beginning of the day, and reasonably so when you looked at Florida's official visits, who they were in the mix for, missing out on Nessa Silvera, Nicholas Petit-Free. Noah Boykin was one who Florida's class was pretty confident that they would get in here. But Dan Mullen said it best, and in a transition class, you don't want to pad the class with guys that you may be regretting. Not saying any of those guys are, but you don't want to pad the class with any guys who could be regrets down the line. You want to develop the ones that you have. He talked a lot in his press conference about identifying personalities, doing all their homework, and if these were the 21, 22 guys where they really felt the most comfortable for, I think that's the best thing for Florida, is that you're really not going to have a situation down the line where the coaching staff is kind of regretting some of the guys they signed today.
Yeah, and Graham, let's talk about the 3 that fell late, starting with Copeland, I guess, because he's a huge impact player, could have an immediate impact in the offense that Mullen's going to run. Absolutely.
Anytime you have a guy who is previously committed to the staff, there's always that worry that maybe they're looking elsewhere. Mullen and his coaching staff did a great job re-recruiting him, so to speak, reselling him on the program. And you saw in his signing day press conference, there were some people who really thought that he was going to either Alabama or Tennessee.
It was pretty obvious.
To sit up there and have the composure and the confidence that he did. I don't care who you are out there. You absolutely have to have some respect for someone who can sit up there in front of a few hundred people and go with your gut, with what you think is best, and not really listen to anyone else, especially someone like your mom or your grandma or your cousins who are really kind of in your ear. And anyone who kind of thought that Jacob Copeland was a diva or attention hog off of social media, they really just don't understand him at all, because I don't think many people out there could have done that. And then getting Malik Langham and Richard Garage, a guy who was committed in this class but had offers from Auburn and Clemson, I think that getting those guys and going 2-2 against Nick Saban, getting Malik Langham, a true defensive end, 6'6" guy, a guy who's really smart, projected by many people in this class to be a top 15 defensive end, kind of fits their 3-4 system as well. They're really overjoyed they got those 3 guys, because it could have been so much worse based on the morning. They closed very, very well.
And I love the fact that more on Copeland, how Mullen said when he got here, Copeland said, I'm going to decommit, coach. It was all handled well, first class, but I still love Florida. And when it came down to it, Mullen said, go with your heart, and that's what Copeland did today, which was really good. And then you look at what Mullen did at the end here as far as his recruiting wins over Saban and Dabo Swinney late today.
Yeah, you have to be confident in the coach and Dan Mullen thinking that letting a guy like Jacob Copeland, who has a whole full slate of offers, letting him go, do what he wants to do, and still have the confidence to say, okay, you can have your options out there, but we're still going to go after you. That shows how confident they are in their recruiting efforts, and it paid off. He got to see every other program out there, see what he wanted to see, and then ended up back in Gainesville, which is a huge win for Florida.
Yeah, and then overall, when you put the early signing class together with this one, a very good transitional class that I don't think you can complain too many complaints with anything that went on with this class.
Yeah, Florida's early signing period still stands out to me. Getting a quarterback late in the process in Emory Jones, getting some of those top guys to stay in the class who were committed to the previous regime, some guys that Mullen was familiar with, a lot of really, really high-profile targets, and then getting guys like Justin Watkins, who is very underrated as a kind of a two-way player, could play in the defensive backfield, could be a wide receiver. He's already built a rapport with Emory Jones. He's a guy that ESPN has ranked in the top 30 overall recruits in this class. I don't think anyone really understands how good he can really be, because he was someone who didn't commit on signing day. Those are the big gets for Mullen's class. I really like the guys that they got, and we could be sitting here talking about them getting a few more guys, but everyone they got, they really wanted. So I think that's the big overall thing you have to take from today.
And Graham, you talked about how Mullen and staff find guys that are going to fit into what they're doing. Nobody fits better than Chatfield.
Absolutely. A guy who has been reported to be just 220, kind of little bit, needed to add some size, 6'2", to play that outside linebacker role. But Mullen said that he was actually 240 pounds on his official visit. He's a guy that I really, really like. You look at his heart, you look at his speed off the line. He can play at multiple positions in the defense on the front 7. I really think that they got a good one in there, because Miami was fighting till the very end for good reason for him.
Tenacious guy that doesn't quit. Relentless effort. We keep hearing that from him, and he does that. So.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think that's going to wrap up for our National Signing Day Swampcast. We'll be back again soon with one. I'm sure of spring football coming. Not maybe recruiting, but football. But I'm Robbie Andreu. This is Graham Hall, and thanks for being here. Any closing words?
We'll have a signing day Facebook Live tomorrow.
Yeah.
Any more questions you have that you want to ask about the class, we'll be doing that sometime early in the afternoon. So send those in. You can also reach me at my email ghall@sunriders.com or on gatorsports.com. Reach out to us. We want to answer all your questions.
Reach out to Graham. He'll give you the answers. We'll see you later then. Thanks a lot, guys.